chair has wheels on it. Hi, everybody. Hey, my name is Brian, but you may know me from my shaving channel on YouTube called Sinatra Lennon. But we're not going to talk about shaving today, and we're not going to talk about Beatles music or anything like that. We're going to talk about what I do for a living. And by no means is this some sort of expert advice video, because I just started doing Invisalign treatment. This is my second tray. If you're familiar with Invisalign, they're braces. They straighten your teeth. I've had, kind of crooked teeth. You can see the little attachments there for that little light bump for the Invisalign. Anyway, so for years now, I've wanted to correct my crooked teeth, the bottom teeth, and there's one top tooth that's a little off kilter. And it always bothered me. It was no big deal. But now that I'm doing it, I wanted to talk to you about what it's like if you are a voiceover professional, as I am, because this was a thing that kept me from getting braces for years, was the worry of, is it going to affect my speech during the year, or whatever it takes for braces to straighten your teeth. So the idea of Invisalign always appealed to me because you could remove them. And so I wanted to talk about that because I went into this. This is what I do for a living. I talk into a microphone. These are especially this one. This is a really good quality one. And they pick up every little noise, every lisp, every mouth noise, every random cough, all that stuff. So if you've got something stuck in your mouth, you've got these plastic coverings on both sets of choppers. I was like, can you tell that I've got them in? I've only had them in for, 2 weeks. It is Friday. So I put the first tray in 2 weeks ago, Tuesday. So 2.5 weeks. And it's barely noticeable. I think it's slightly. Let me tell you the couple of things. Let me tell you my experience with Invisalign and voiceover, and how the process has changed as my teeth have been moving, and how my tongue and my mouth have gotten used to talking with the Invisalign in, because I think you can do it in a situation like this, what I'm doing here. I'm doing a live broadcast, and it's not going to be poured over for generations, like by audiophiles listening for any mouth noise or weirdness. So I can kind of get away with that. But I knew going into this that if there was a pronounced lisp, which is, you just can't, you kind of tell that Invisilisp, I guess. The Invisilisp. I don't know. I'm just making this stuff up as I go, folks. I'm at work. We got to do a show here in half an hour. So I want to get this in quick. Anyway, so when I first got it in, well, first of all, I didn't get braces for years because I didn't know if it would change. I couldn't do it. And I was doing much more non-live broadcast, And so I just didn't. Then when I got this Invisalign, and I knew I could do this, but I knew that if I got into a situation where I was like doing an audio book or a video game voice or, anything, actually a video game voice might, have this being changed might add to a character. I don't know. You don't know. You get in there, you'll do it. But if I need to get into a situation of a recording session where I cannot, they can't have this Invisilisp thing going on, I could take them out. And the buttons are on the outside, the little attachments. So this is what they don't tell you. At least I didn't know this until I first started getting into this. I think they do it kind of cleverly. I'm giving ulterior motives to these poor people. They put these little attachments on your teeth that help pull the teeth into the position they need to be in. And that's how the Invisalign works. The plastic covers them. The plastic itself helps. And then the little buttons that they've attached to your tooth help. But that means that when you take the trays out, the little buttons are there on the exterior of each tooth, but they're not going to cause you to lisp. Now, here's the things that I did notice. Here's the two things: the lisp, the Invisilisp thing, and then F's, the letter F. Like follow. I'm looking at the script here. Let's see so anything with that, because when you're saying an F, well, we'll get to the lisp in a second because that's the most obvious. But something I hadn't thought about, and what I experienced a little bit just now as I'm saying it, and a little bit right when I first got the first trays in, is they would fill with saliva. And so you would have this kind of, you constantly, not so much as you get used to it, but constantly like sucking saliva out of your tray, like the top of your tray, especially after you've drunk coffee, which you're not supposed to do with Invisaligns. But I do. I just wash it out immediately as much as I can with water so it doesn't stain. And if it stains, you're only putting it in for a week or 2 weeks and you chunk it. But anyway, so the F sound, fa, 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 because your teeth have gaps, normally your breath can go between those teeth. But when you first get this, it's a full flat dam, so it's like, so it's weird. And the air will go into the tray behind the tooth and then up around, and the spit that's in there will kind of, and that was picking up on mic for my live broadcasting. So when I was trying to figure out how best to deal with that top tray, because that's only the problem. It's the top tray, it's not the bottom. I seem to be doing this the whole time. I'm like covering my crooked teeth. I just started. Pretty soon they'll be beautiful. I'll show you later. Anyway, so at first I was dealing with that. But then I think with getting used to them. Oh, here was the two techniques. Sorry. So one was to, before I started talking, this is real inside baseball for voiceover people. So if you're getting lost or this is boring or losing you or gross because I'm talking about this kind of stuff, well then, there's lots of other stuff. It's YouTube. Go find something fun to watch. Daily dose of internet. That's a good one. Anyway, so that was the first one. I thought, maybe that'll do it. I'll get rid of the spit because it was picking up on mic and it was like, but that was when I was first getting used to it. And then I think the teeth started to shift, as they do, as they will, as they should. And then I got used to how they felt, and that wasn't a problem anymore. And then I realized instead of trying to suck the air out like that, I would close my mouth, close my lip against the tray, put my tongue against the back of the tray, and sort of create a small vacuum so that the tray suctioned into my teeth just a little tighter, just right before I would say the line, like, now let's get ready to, whatever. And that helped. So in those first few days, I tried the clearing it out and making it dry, and then I tried the just like suction it, and that seemed to help a little bit better. Did you hear that? Seemed? It's more obvious sometimes. But anyway, so that was the one thing. So the F sound, that was, the spit in the tray and the F sounds, and there's no gaps for the breath to get through. And then the lisp, of course, that's what everybody talks about, the lisp. And it's going to be there sometimes inadvertently. Now, when I'm talking, I'm both partially thinking about it and subconsciously thinking about tongue placement, where I'm putting my tongue at the roof of my mouth, how far behind the plastic of the tray. Like here's my top teeth. Here's where the tray stops, and here's the roof of my mouth. So I put my tongue just before the tray starts. Yeah, if you position your tongue just right, then you're going to minimize that lisp. Now, it'll take some practice, and it's still, it's an ongoing thing. And I don't think it's ever totally 100% smoothly a clear, clean S sound all the time. Sometimes it is, but if you push enough air through that tray, you're going to start to hear it. You're going to hear the trays. Anyway, these are just weird little things I thought of. And I looked on YouTube to see if there are any other voiceovers, people that talked about this sort of thing. I didn't look for voiceovers with braces. I did look for Invisalign because that's what I got going on. And, I had braces when I was a kid to correct an overbite, and then I didn't wear the retainer. And your teeth are constantly moving your whole life. They never stop. They never just like, all right, I'm done. So that's why you got to keep the retainer in them. And when I'm done with this, in 10 months or whatever, I'll do the retainer every night. But anyway, so if you're a voiceover person and you have crooked teeth and you want to straighten them, first of all, you got to think about what will that do to your voice? Just the movement and reshaping of teeth. And if they have to correct an under and overbite, or your jawline slightly shifts, ever so slightly, there might be some very subtle changes. I don't think it would make a big difference, but these are things to think about, and this is what concerned me leading up to this. Second of all, if you've got crooked teeth and you want to get them fixed and you're thinking about between braces and Invisalign, now, I don't know. I'll have to check and see if there's some, well, you should check. See if there's some YouTube videos about people, voiceover guys girls, anybody, voiceover people that have braces. But as far as Invisalign are concerned, I think that's the option, because if you're doing like what I'm doing, like a broadcast type situation, and it doesn't have to be perfection, then you can get away with keeping them in, which is, you want to keep them in as long as you can to keep that straightening going, you know. But if you really needed to, you can pop them right out, and they're not going to cause a problem, because you're not going to feel anything. Your tongue is not rubbing against anything except your teeth, unless you want to lick the front of your teeth, but you're not doing that to speak. So I think in that way, your voice will be unchanged, and it'll be perfect. And you pop them right back in, between takes, or, take a break or whatever you do, So, yeah. So it's been interesting so far, and I'm still struggling with it. And there are times where, this is when you get into the mental aspect of Invisalign. It takes a lot of the fun out of eating, because when you take them out, your teeth have been moving, so they're a little tender, and so if you bite into something like, I don't know, like ciabatta bread that has like some give, you're like, oh, I'm gonna pull my teeth out. Anyway, but that has nothing to do with the voiceover. Anyway, so those are just a few thoughts, and if I think of anything else, or if you have any questions about Invisalign or doing voiceovers, then put it in the comments below, and maybe I'll make a follow-up video as this goes. Supposedly, I have 20 trays. This is the second one I've put in, and it's supposed to take 10 months, I think, something like that. And then sometimes you have to make adjustments. There's lots of stuff they don't tell you right at the beginning when you go into Invisalign. I think a lot of people realize that, but it's okay, because just have patience. Stick to it. It's going to be all right. You'll get there. And if you do it right, if you stick with it, don't do what I did when I was a kid and just don't wear your retainer because you're lazy. Believe me, you'll thank yourself for just doing that little bit of effort. Anyway, if you have any questions, please leave a comment. And if you want to see my shaving stuff, you're in the right spot. It's all out there. You'll see. All right, everybody. Good night. I'm going to wheel myself back now.